Good evening all, and welcome back to All Hail the Ale. It's Saturday night, and I've not long since finished a beer that was, shall we say, overly sweet and not to my liking. And it's about time that I introduce some beer back to my palate that actually tastes like beer. So I thought to myself, I'm going to go for a classic, but when I was out shopping today, I spotted something on the shelf that I thought, oh, I've got to try that, because that fits in with another section of my channel that I'm really enjoying developing, and that is a low alcohol beer. And as you can guess, this is a mystery taste-off based on the little thumbnail picture and the wording. And the beer in question that caught my eye is an addition to Tesco's non-alcoholic section that I've not seen before. In fact, it wasn't in there last weekend, so it's new this week. And it is this one. It is the low alcohol version of Old Speckled Hen, one of my absolute favourites. And I've done comparisons of Old Speckled Hen before, the regular versus the gluten-free, and found that the gluten-free was a little bit more hoppy in flavour than the regular Old Speckled Hen. And when I saw this, I thought, I've got to try it, absolutely have to try it. And I thought, I'm going to do another comparison between the regular Old Speckled Hen and the low alcohol version. Low in as much as it's 0.5 or no more than, according to the label. And it says here on the back, crafted by the master brewers of Old Speckled Hen, the nation's favourite premium ale, this refreshing low alcohol beer is brewed to deliver taste and aroma evocative of the original, but with 54% fewer calories than regular Old Speckled Hen. Well, the lack of calories is a bonus. I mean, it's what, per 100ml? It says 22 calories. So we're talking 110 calories for the whole bottle. So it's a 500ml bottle. And that's a good thing, because, hey, who couldn't do with fewer calories, right? Not that the beer is overly heavy in calories. I mean, the regular Old Speckled Hen doesn't actually tell me how many calories are in there. But obviously it's 54% less in this than this. But yeah. So, low alcohol Old Speckled Hen. We're going to do the comparison. So what we're going to do, we're going to pour into two glasses. We have Ye Old Worthington's pint glass, which will contain the alcohol free, and Ye Old Hobgoblin glass will contain the full fat Speckled Hen. So we are going to start with the alcohol free. And we're going to pour into the Worthington's glass. And let's face it, it's Old Speckled Hen. It looks like Old Speckled Hen. Doesn't pour quite like Old Speckled Hen. Old Speckled normally has a little bit more head on it, but low alcohol. And now we're going to pour the regular Old Speckled Hen. Regular run-of-the-mill 500ml, 5%. Old Speckled Hen into Ye Old Hobgoblin glass. There we go. So more head on regular Old Speckled. Side by side comparison, colour wise. Pint wise, they look identical, absolutely identical. Aroma wise, let's get the original first of all. Malty, very malty. Nice amount of hop. Alcohol free. Interesting, lots of malt. Similar hop. Interesting, very, very similar. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with what we know and love, the full fat Old Speckled Hen at 5%. I love an Old Speckled Hen. It's malty. It's a nice sweet malt, and it follows through with the hop. I'm just checking. I've actually yes, I have turned the microphone on. Sorry, moment of madness there. I thought I hadn't turned it on. So it's malty, it's hoppy. It's a lovely beer flavour. It's a cracking beer. Is a Old Speckled Hen. Delicious. And now 0.5% Old Speckled Hen. A low alcohol, distinguished by its blue labelling, so it's quite different. I've noticed a lot of the alcohol-free beers are going for blue as a colour scheme. I wonder why. Don't know why, but anyway, this is it. See what we get. Now, that's interesting. In a good way. It says on the bottle, the aromas are malty, toffee and lightly roasted. I can't disagree. And the flavours are abundance of malts and a light toffee character. Let me just compare that with the full fat. Abundance of malts, yeah. Ah no, okay, so this says light toffee. This says distinctive toffee character. Everything else is said the same. Malty toffee lightly roasted, malty toffee lightly roasted for the aroma. Yeah, the only other difference is the light toffee character of the alcohol free versus distinctive toffee character of the full fat. Now, let's go back to this one. It's a very similar hop profile, very similar. Where it does differ is the malt. This is lighter. It's almost more like a popcorn kind of caramel flavour, that real sweet flavour. Whereas full fat regular Old Speckled Hen is darker. Yeah, definitely darker. More like a dark caramel, like a toasted caramel. Whereas this is light popcorn. This is dark. Nice. And they're both very, very nice beers in their own right. I mean, if you are needing to drink low alcohol beer for a reason, whether you're just driving or you've got a medical condition, it's not bad at all. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I prefer the regular, because I prefer that bitterness that it offers, whereas this is quite sweet. However, if I'm driving, I would not turn it down. It is, I mean, they say it's taste and aroma evocative of the original, and that is a good way of putting it. It's not faithful to the original, it's not an exact replica, because let's face it, it's alcohol free for all intents and purposes, so you're never going to get the same, and it's brewed that way, they say, so it's not de-alcoholized like some, and I find that process seems to retain more of the flavour, but it's not a bad drop. It's not a bad drop at all. It's lacking a little bit of the body that the full fat version has, but again, it's different. It's a different beer. Oh, now, okay. I've just noticed something on the ingredients list that I find interesting. I just want to check the regular. Does it offer me an ingredients list? No, that's interesting. This one does not offer me an ingredients list. This doesn't offer an ingredients list. Whereas this one does. And this one tells me the ingredients. In fact, I'm sure this must do. I'm sure by law they have to somewhere. No. Anyway, this one says it's obviously got water, malted barley, malted barley extract, malted barley, natural hop flavouring. That's the interesting bit. Hop flavouring, hops, and it has colouring. Interesting. So you've got hop flavouring plus colouring to deliver this one. Now, I like my beer as natural as possible, and so adding in colouring is a bit of a for me. Flavour's not bad, but the colouring kind of throws me. I wonder what colour it was. Without it, it's just one thing that I don't expect in beer. I do not expect colouring in any beer. Natural colouring, yes. So if you've got like a fruit beer that's got cherries, like the previous beer that I've drunk, that obviously took on a red hue. And if you've got a fruit beer that's got lots of, say, mango and pineapple, that too is going to lend an edge to it. But when you're adding artificial colouring to a beer, I'm not sure that sits too well. You might think differently, that's up to you. It's not a problem for you. Happy days, enjoy it. But I prefer my beer without it. I like the natural colours of the roasted malts to come through. Call me old-fashioned. But we're reviewing the flavour first and foremost. And the flavour, in comparison to full fat versus the low alcohol, it's similar but different. This pays homage to this, but it's sweeter. It is nice, but not as nice as this. The old full fat, Old Speckled Hen, the original, the granddaddy of the Old Speckled Hen line. This is the young whippersnapper, snapping at its heels. Is it going to ever be as good? Probably not. But it's different, and it's a different generation. You can't take that away from it. It is what it is. It's low alcohol beer. So, we're going to take the granddaddy Old Speckled Hen out of the way and concentrate on the full fat one for now. The low fat. The 0.5% alcohol free, artificially coloured beer. Would I buy it again? Okay, I'm going to use a benchmark of my least favourite of my recently tried non-alcoholic beers. It shall remain nameless, but it is, in my mind, it's the bar at which I will not accept. Is this better than that? Yes, it is. I wouldn't buy the other one again. I might buy this one again. But it's not as good as others. And the fact that there's artificial colouring in there kind of puts me off a little bit. The flavours are not bad. Like I say, it's malty, but it's really sweet as well. There's that caramel, that kind of butter-kissed popcorn flavour going on. And if you like that, more power to you. Great, you're going to love it. But I prefer the full fat Old Speckled Hen. Like I say, I would buy it if this was the only non-alcoholic beer on offer. Yeah, and I was driving, I'd drink it. If there were other non-alcoholic beers on offer, I'd probably try those. So with regards to the score, it's got a similar hop profile to the full fat Old Speckled. It's malty, but it's quite sweet. I would buy it again, but I wouldn't rush to buy it again. And on that note, I'm going to give it 3.5. No, yeah, 3.5 out of 5. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5 I think is a fair score for the low alcohol Old Speckled Hen. Like I say, flavours are similar, but ever so slightly different in as much as this is sweeter than the full fat Old Speckled Hen. It's got more of a toffee popcorn flavour as opposed to the real dark toffee that you might say associate with a bonfire. And on that note, I'm going to leave it there. Ladies and gents, this has been the low alcohol Old Speckled Hen versus the full fat Old Speckled Hen. I've been Nick, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.